Yeah.
I want to know like what exactly you think the community needs to do to bring that
Yeah.
change.
Okay. How much time do you have? No, joking.
As long as
Um,
you need.
I've been thinking about how to summarize, how to condense this anyway, because I've been reading and studying and talking with people for years now, and sometimes in trying to communicate that to people, I think that it can sound overwhelming and like it's really complicated and it's challenging, but I don't think that it's actually really complicated. And I think that all of us have some version of a framework for changing the world that we don't realize can be applied to that work, right? Because every time I talk to people about it, they're like, oh, yeah, I work in tech and it's just like this, or hey, I work in education, it's just like that, right? So I think it all starts with your vision. It all starts with imagining the world that you want to see. And that's one thing that the people have to do is we need to get together in our different communities, especially those who are directly impacted in those communities, and start asking, if you could wave a magic wand over this city and it would change by tomorrow morning, how would it be different? And get specific. How would healthcare be different? How would human rights be different? How would policing be different if there would be police, you know? So that's the first thing, is dreaming together. The second thing is coming up with a plan, you know? This is what I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of people in these streets every day, every night, but it's not connected to a vision and it's not connected to a plan, to goals to get there, right? Sun Tzu says in The Art of War that tactics, which are our marches and protests and rallies, tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. We're in a power struggle. And the ones who are going to win this power struggle are the ones who out organize the other. And the powers that be are highly organized. They're very organized. The police don't ever line up in front of a group of activists and say, "Okay, how are we moving?" They don't ask that question on the street. They know what they're going to do. Before they leave the station, they know what they're going to do. And they know that they know who they're going to follow, they know their orders. And that's the thing. So the second thing is that we have to organize, we have to plan. We need to take a part of that vision that we came up with and start asking the question, well, what do we think that we could realistically accomplish within the next 3 to 5 years? And then pick the thing that is, start with the thing that is small enough to win, but big enough to matter. And start scaling up from there. Because every victory that you win is something that communicates to other people around you that this movement knows what it's doing. This movement gets things done. This movement is successful. Everybody wants to be a part of the winning team. Start stacking up victories. And every time you invite people to an action and do something, you need to have a way to absorb those people into your movement. Give them a role to play. You scale. Dream, come up with a plan. That plan you need to understand what your strengths and weaknesses are, what opportunities are in front of you, and what threats you might be facing. And you also need to know your opponent. You need to know the same thing about your opponent. And then you just need to act. Once you know where you're going and you have an idea of the obstacles that stand in your way and you have a plan to maximize your opportunities and mitigate your threats, you work at it, you know? I think that's what people need to do. I mean, not just people, I think that that's what needs to happen in communities, but it's also something that I see with people who really want to create change, and so that compels them to go out. And I applaud that. I commend that. I resonate with it. Honestly, that's me too. I was compelled to do something too. But I gotta say, like, as a black man who also, I care about my life and the lives of my nephews and nieces and my family, I actually get offended when I see people who just go out and like try to do this without giving any thought to it.
Yeah.
It offends me because I got ancestors spanning back centuries that have been trying to do this work.
Yeah. And they think it'll happen overnight.
You think it'll happen overnight with no thought just because you ran outside and was screaming that you don't like this in public? You know? No, this is a power struggle. And if you're saying that you're fighting in the name of Black lives, and you need to be fighting well, you need to be fighting smart. You need to do everything that you can to learn what has worked before, what are the dynamics, how does this thing work, how does the system work? Because otherwise, I don't know, you might be out in the street just to express yourself, or to for your own self-esteem, or to alleviate some kind of white guilt or something like that. But yeah, come up with the vision, come up with a plan, a strategy, then skillfully implement that strategy.